Hello and welcome to Lime Wedge Loge Picks Week 14 playoff picture. This week's picture will probably look considerably different than last week's in one aspect due to cough 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 Philip Rivers and the Chargers regressions. So you probably won't be seeing too much of their bandwagoning this week. I jumped on the bandwagon and now, it looks like that was a bad decision. But anyway, on to the picks. The Jaguars. Texans aren't playing well. Jaguars surprisingly are. I have to go with the Jaguars. Colts at Bengals. This is a difficult matchup. Because which Colts team will show up to play and which Bengals team will show up to play. There is no guarantee either team will show up to play. They may just walk out on the field and just stand there until they tie. Not do anything, just stand there. Bengals because they're at home. Simply because they're at home. I'm assuming Aaron Rodgers will be back and be somewhat healthy and give them the benefit of the doubt. Not that pretty much anyone deserves it, but still. Patriots over the Browns. I want to give the Jets the benefit of the doubt since they're at home because they played so good at the beginning of the year. But I have to give that one to the Raiders. I don't trust the Jets. Lions at the Eagles. This is going to be one of the better matchups. But unfortunately, the Lions have their troubles with fumbling a little bit of turnover problems, and against a good Eagles team who's playing at such a high level, I can't see the Lions taking that one. Dolphins at the Steelers. This is possibly the hardest game to pick that matters. Who do you take? 3-3 on the road, 3-2 at home. Steelers lost last week. Dolphins won last week. Dolphins beat the Jets, which doesn't say a lot. And the Steelers lost to the Ravens, which isn't that bad of a loss. So simply, eeny, meeny, miny Steelers. They're just eeny, meeny, miny, miny. In a game that matters more than it should, the Buccaneers play better at home. I'm going to give it to them at home. Even though the Bills, if the Bills won, they could be right back in the playoff picture. The Chiefs are going to get some redemption and a win against a haphazard Redskins team. The Vikings are not at home, so they've only had one tie on the road. They haven't won on the road. Ravens are almost unbeatable at home. Titans don't hang around like they did with the Colts. John Fox is a big lift. Rams at Cardinals. Home field seems to be really good for the Cardinals, so I'm going to give it to them on that, even though a Rams upset wouldn't shock me. Giants at Chargers. I don't trust either team, but I would trust the Chargers more than the Giants. Seahawks at 49ers. The way the Seahawks manhandled the Saints, I don't know. Now, this matchup is more interesting because the past 2 times or 3, I don't remember how many times I've done this so far, I was easily able to say, oh, well, they're perfect at home, I'll give them the split. The Panthers win one, the Saints win the other. But the Saints played so bad last week, they're either going to A, flounder again this week, and the Panthers will take it, or B, get mad and win it. Well, I don't see a mad victory coming against the Panthers defense. I just don't. Now another tough matchup. I'm assuming that the Bears are going to play good and the Cowboys aren't. Because this is such a wishy-washy league at this point. I'll give it to the Bears simply because I trust in them slightly more than I do the Cowboys. Broncos keep rolling. Falcons get a win. Sorry, Redskins fans. The Browns, I don't know how the Bears could mess up big enough to lose to the Browns. Colts beat the Texans. I don't think they'll fail that epically. Patriots are the Patriots, even in Miami. This one is a more interesting matchup than it should be. 3-3 at home, but the Eagles are even better on the road than they are at home. Minnesota's more feisty than they should be, but still. Sorry, Giants. I'm going to give it to the 49ers. The Buccaneers are at home, so the 49ers could drop that one. But they're playing better, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Bills, Jaguars. Bills, Jaguars. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one of you won't fail? Bills and Jaguars. Bills and Jaguars. Jaguars because I said so. Kansas City. Sorry, Oakland. Jets can't win to save their life. Aaron Rodgers should be healthy, assuming he doesn't get hurt again from coming back too soon. Cardinals should take the Titans, but this is interesting to note. Very interesting. The Titans will still be in it if they win. Maybe not the favorite, but still very alive. This is another potential trap game for the Saints. But unfortunately, the Rams are not as good as the other teams. So this is where the Saints will get their trouncing revenge, in my humble opinion. Steelers-Bengals. This is another hard matchup because I do believe the Steelers aren't as good as the Bengals. Will you please stop showing me that stupid thing? I ranted about that in the first video I did on this, and it was like, "Hi, your computer, it's Putin, and it's going slow." I don't know what I'm saying. Bengals at Steelers. Steelers are going to get the benefit of the doubt here. Ravens at Lions. The Lions are good. The Ravens are bad on the road, but the Ravens have got to peak. They just got to. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt over the Lions. Dolphins at Bills. Dolphins aren't used to the cold weather, so I'm going to give it to the Bills. The Bills will be a little bit too feisty for them. Sorry, Dolphins fans. I know you're like, we're playoffs. We're so close. You're a toss-up every week. Bengals win that one. I'm going to say the Chiefs win it. It's probably not. It might not happen depending on which Colts show up, but Chiefs get the benefit of doubt at this point. Yeah. Buccaneers are getting their act together. Sorry, Rams fans. I know you haven't won a game yet. You might pull one of these out. You might not. The team of incompetence. I'm just predicting the Jets just completely fall apart. Bears at Eagles. Eagles win championships. And looky, who's right there in the playoff spot at this moment. Cowboys at Redskins. Cowboys, I don't see the Redskins pulling that one off. Saints are playing better, but give it to the Panthers at home. They got the Saints numbers. Who they think they want to beat them Saints? I say them Panthers say they're going to beat them Saints. Jacksonville winning streak. They're going to carry momentum into next year and win the Super Bowl. Ha ha ha. They may win the BCS National Championship, which is funny because there's going to be no BCS next year. Broncos have to have it. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the Lions, who probably, again, don't deserve it. Cardinals at Seahawks. I know Cardinals fans, you're probably saying, but playoffs. No, the Seahawks say no. The Packers over the Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers is back to being Aaron Rodgers. Chargers get the slight benefit of the doubt here. Sorry, Ravens, even at home, the Patriots are still the Patriots. And 49ers over Falcons. Last week, Panthers actually don't. Based on my scenario, I'm going on my scenario for who will win the last week because, like I said, based on that, even if the Panthers lose, they can't fall any lower. Even if the Panthers win, they can't go any higher. Panthers rest their start. Well, I don't know. 2 weeks of rest would be possibly a little rust. But I'll say they still rest their starters. Atlanta gets it. A game more or less for a playoff berth. I trust Aaron Rodgers, assuming, like I said, still assuming he gets healthy. And then I'm going to say the Ravens win it. It's more or less a must-win for them. They go into the Bengals and win it. The Bengals beat the Colts earlier in my scenario, so the Bengals would probably rest their starters because they can't move up. And even if Indy wins, yeah, there we go. Titans get one win against the Texans. The poor Texans. Dolphins win. Look, you got another win, Dolphins fans. In a game that doesn't matter, Detroit takes it. Patriots hoping the Broncos slip against the Raiders. Saints know they need to win to stay ahead of the 49ers. And, okay, I don't see any other. Well, I guess if New Orleans lost and the Cardinals won, no, they still win. But they would want, I don't know who they'd want to face. But anyway, the 49ers would still play well and win, trying to get that away from New Orleans. Giants, poor Redskins. Steelers win, but with the Ravens earlier win, it doesn't matter. Broncos have to stay ahead of the Patriots, so they'll have to play their starters. Chiefs have nothing to win, so Chargers win. And then the Seahawks have nothing to play for, so the Rams win. And that is very possibly what your playoffs will look like. Because the Ravens are, in my opinion, the best out of the 6th seed and down class. I don't see Miami, Buffalo, or Jets being anywhere close. Pittsburgh's close, but that loss on Thanksgiving was their death sentence. Jacksonville, well, I don't read Jacksonville. They almost won out, but no. The Titans have a shot if they play up to their level, but they play some good teams, so they're pretty much out, in my opinion. Houston, San Diego has a shot at it. Don't show me this message again. And Oakland, they play too many good teams. So the only ones with... So that's why the Ravens are my number one... stupid hooey. Are my number one overall team in my predictions to make the playoffs. Second would still be San Diego, just because of the way I see their schedule going. And third would be Tennessee. No, Pittsburgh. Third would be Pittsburgh. I don't know. Pittsburgh could be second, depending on how they play. Pittsburgh has a lot of toss-up games as well. But anyway, on to the playoffs. Who I think is going to win in the playoffs. The Ravens go into the Bengals, who decide it's time to flop again. And the Ravens win in the playoffs, starting another run to the Super Bowl, maybe. Kansas City goes to Indianapolis. This time the Colts say, hey look, we're actually the Colts. And, they win. And that would mean the Ravens would go to the Broncos, and the Colts would go to the Patriots. Is it just me, or does that seem awfully reminiscent of last year? This year, Joe Flacco goes into Denver, and to prove people for the second year in a row he's elite, and he can't deal with Peyton Manning, due to certain quote-unquote. Basically, Joe Flacco's huge contract made them lose some key players. One of those, cough cough, was a certain wide receiver that really helped him duel with Peyton Manning. So without him, the Ravens fall in Denver. And now the Colts go to New England to continue that fuel-driven, hate-passionate, whatever you want to call it, Colts-Patriots rivalry. So it'll either be the Colts facing Peyton Manning in the AFC Championship game, or Brady Manning in the playoffs. So the Colts go into Foxborough, and Bill Belichick shows why he's Bill Belichick, and the Patriots win. That leaves New England at Denver for a trip to the Super Bowl. statistically, Tom Brady is the better quarterback and in the playoffs and has a better matchup with Peyton Manning. But I believe the Broncos are an overall more solid team, and they will beat the Patriots, and the Broncos will be headed to the Super Bowl from the AFC side. In the NFC side, the 49ers will go to the Eagles. But unfortunately, like the Ravens, they will not be able to recapture that magic of last year. Nick Foles is on record-breaking pace. At least he was before this week, but he's still looking pretty good. He was on track to break Aaron Rodgers' single-season passing rating. Even if he doesn't do that, the way he's had over 100 passer rating, I think every week he's played. At least in the past few weeks I know of. I haven't looked up a million stats for this. Anyway, that's really good quarterbacking if you didn't know. In New Orleans, they struggle in cold weather. I think I heard them say that New Orleans hasn't won in cold weather yet. So they go down to a now healthy, assumingly Aaron Rodgers, which sets up Green Bay at Seattle in a rematch of the horrendous Hail Mary call and the Eagles at the Panthers. Well, I still say Seattle at home has a distinct advantage, and they will be able to more or less hold Aaron Rodgers just enough for Russell Wilson to outduel him at home. And then the Eagles and the Panthers. This is one of my worst case matchups. Why? Simply because the Eagles and Panthers are my two favorite NFL teams. So, will the Road Warrior Eagles be able to go into Carolina and Nick Foles keep up his passing? Unfortunately for my Panthers, I have to say yes. When a guy is hot, like Nick Foles is, you can't stop him. And in a quarterback duel between Carolina's Superman and the Eagles' Superman, pretty much, I can't say that Cam Newton would win a passing duel. Just straight up passing, no. Eagles come into Carolina, and with woe I say, the Panthers lose. Now, in a completely different scenario, because I've been to a Panthers game before, and from what I heard, it was rather mellow, especially compared to Seattle Stadium. So in my head, I imagine it being at least 3 times louder than it was at the Panthers Stadium. And it was still decently loud. Eagles go in there, and the 12th man shakes up Nick Foles just enough for the Seattle Seahawks to squeak by on a late field goal. This sets up a Denver-Seattle Super Bowl. Young upstart Russell Wilson versus the seasoned veteran Peyton Manning. By far, the Seahawks are playing their best football right now, as I'm recording this. Well, not as I'm recording this, because they're not playing football at this very moment, but you get what I mean. But this game will not be in Seattle. It will be in New Jersey, which gives the advantage to Peyton Manning. As Peyton Manning goes into his brother's domain and wins his Super Bowl. On Numbers Never Lie, I think it was Numbers Never Lie, they did a whole thing that was like Manning versus Brady, Manning versus Brady. Next one with a ring is the better quarterback, something like that. Just, joking around, since there's conflicting numbers depending on who you want to say is the best of the two. Well, this will be Peyton Manning's next Super Bowl ring, because it's easy to pick the Broncos, and after making 2 bold predictions last week, I'm going with the safe route. So, what do you think about the Broncos winning the Super Bowl in this one? I think the Broncos are a safe bet. If it was in Seattle, I would pick the Seahawks, but it's not. Anyway, before I go, I want to let you see something very interesting. This has no effect on what I actually believe is going to happen, but just to show you how the NFL works, Let me just click a few things. Click, click, click. So just showing how this could possibly work. You see that? You see that? And I mean, it doesn't even have to work out like this. Say Steelers still beat the Browns. Bengals beat the Steelers. The Jaguars make the playoffs. It was feasibly possible. Because let's just look at it for a second there. Jaguars, that's a very winnable game for them. And for this to happen, we'd need teams like the Pittsburgh and Baltimore to lose. Now also look at San Diego. Here, Pittsburgh actually beats the Dolphins, who would lose this game. Even if the Dolphins winning this game would result in the Dolphins making the playoffs. So a lot has to happen, but this is a possibility. 7-9 Jacksonville. Because there's a chance, looking here, the Colts won't be able to advance their playoff position any. So they may not play their starters against Jacksonville. Jacksonville would then prey on a weak Indianapolis team with their backups in. So all it would take is a few games ending just right for the Jacksonville Jaguars to make the AFC playoffs. With that thought in mind, I'm Limewitch Loge. I thank you for watching. Please try to keep your sanity after learning the Jacksonville Jaguars are still feasibly in the playoff race. Mind equals blown.